Binance faces probe by U.S. money laundering and tax sleuths. The Justice Department and the IRS seek information about the crypto exchange. The federal agencies haven't accused Binance of wrongdoing. They're just looking into it. Binance has been pretty questionable for a long time. They ran a massive ICO. They were originally based in, I think, Hungary, something like that. They moved to Malta. Then it turned out they didn't really move to Malta. According to this article, they're incorporated in the Cayman Islands, but have an office in Singapore and claim that they lack a single corporate headquarters. That would make them hard to sue. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on Binance and the tax probe? Is this the beginning of the end for the great, magnificent Binance?
No. It's a really interesting company, Binance. I really find them fascinating because they move around. They're very, very liquid. You don't really know where they are. They do run a very good service. They have a very, very good trading platform. It's hasn't it's been fairly SEFU up to now. I'm pretty impressed with what they've done, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about the cult of personality of CZ and all of this stuff, but I think what will happen is they'll dance around this. If anything happens, they'll maybe give up one or two records, but they can't do what the IRS did to Coinbase, which is basically demand all records. Usually these sorts of companies, what they can do, especially with European laws, are pretty intense. So if they're registered somewhere over here, what usually governments do is they'll basically start to put pressure on the banks that Binance might use, and that starts to force the hand. But the thing is that Binance is so big that other banks are willing to work with them very quickly. It's not like the early days where it's very hard to get a bank on board. Now it's like, oh, you don't want to work with us? All right, well, we'll take our billions somewhere else. It'll be tricky for the US government. So the thing is, yeah, like I was saying, in Europe, what usually happens is they'll get a court order and they'll go after one particular person, and the court needs to file for that, for the data of that single person. But yeah, being able to just pull all records like they did with Coinbase is probably very, very unlikely.
Binance reminds me of that old Steve Jobs quote: "Why join the Navy when you can be a pirate?" Alejandro, your thoughts on Binance and this attempted investigation?
Well, I don't. Binance's business model is kind of like this blitzkrieg sort of business model. Open up as fast as we can, get as many people as fast as we can, break all the rules, and then worry about it after when we're filthy rich. And it's been working for them. I don't think Mr. CZ will be easily. I don't know what's gonna happen. I just want them to signal for Taproot. That's all I care. So I don't know. I hope them well. I hope whatever it is. But they've done a very good job building their businesses.
You had me at Blitzkrieg, World War II to my heart. Martin, your thoughts on Binance?
I was a bit late to the party with Binance. I always thought it was just a shitcoin casino and not a real proper exchange. But I changed my mind some time ago. I found the uptime very good. I even recently got one of those Binance cards, and I'm super impressed. So I hope they will hang around. I do know some people that work there, and they're nice people too, and fairly transparent in in what they do. They do a lot of volume, so that's pretty cool. I recently learned they also do a mining pool. I wasn't even aware of that, so I thought they were only an exchange. So they're pretty huge, and they're a force to be reckoned with. And I think Josh is right. If governments put pressure on them and like they'll just and close their bank accounts. They'll just take the money elsewhere, and there will be many banks happy to serve them. So yeah, I did notice recently, like, we run many of our clients at General Bytes, they run their own server to connect their ATMs to, but some of them run in the cloud. And those clouds are usually hosted in the US because then they're closer to our clients. We did notice that Binance is actively blocking like US clients to certain websites. You have to go through another website, a US website, if you want to connect to Binance. So that was causing some issues with the API that was running on the cloud server. So that's it's interesting to see. They're all playing all these games, and it's interesting to see how it pans out. But I do wish him well, and even though it wouldn't be my first exchange of choice for trading, I was impressed with the nice black stylish cars that actually works very well. So yes, I hope they will succeed. I don't think they will be too impressed with the IRS coming after them, because they just pick up their stuff and go elsewhere.
In many ways, Binance is almost like the perfect Bitcoin company. Like Josh is saying, they'll move jurisdiction to jurisdiction, play them off against each other, keep moving till they have to maybe move to Mars or the moon or something like that. As long as they're one step ahead of the investigators, it's going to keep working. I worry about that. That would stress me out, being one step ahead. Dan, Eve, your thoughts on Binance and the investigation?
Well, maybe this has all been stirred. Well, in fact, it's probably too recent. But the recent Bitcoin fog sort of investigation. Maybe they suddenly thought, right, we've got to come down heavy on these exchanges. Although it does seem like the article mentioned that Binance has been playing ball with US prosecutors for a while. There was like a fentanyl trafficking and ransomware case. They weren't accused of any wrongdoing, and you could kind of infer for that it was arguable that they weren't found to be like negligent or gross negligent. Otherwise, they would have been investigated much sooner. But they have been a company that's tried to play ball. They've tried to do the right thing. I think kudos on the mining pool. Also, the fact that they got the Seifu fund for protecting people's funds. They're kind of transparent when there's like security issues and hacks and stuff. And let's face it, of all the shit tokens that there were out there, Binance, it had utility. Like people wanted it for different stuff. Oh, I wanted it just for what someone says. I never actually used it for anything, but people were like, oh, I want it for cheap trading fees, and I wanted it to get into an IDO pool, and I wanted it because of this lending rate. So they kind of smashed it in that respect by making it a total Swiss Army knife. And they cut corners in the start. Lots of companies do, and they've probably reached that kind of too big to. I don't want to say it, but too big to fail, status. But there's even they were saying Kraken recently that we're getting their arm twisted over giving information to the IRS, and I researched this, and I think I'm the first person to potentially chain this term, Chainalysis. You like it? Oh yeah, baby. So Chainalysis obviously have been cozying up to the regulators and also trying to snitch on everyone. So yeah, I think I'm kind of on Binance's side. I didn't know they had a mining pool till today, and I think that's cool that they're switched on and they're contributing. It's not just about crack coins for them. It's about it seems to me like it's about doing the right thing.
Well, they should contribute a bit more on the mining pool side and activate Taproot.
I agree.
Signal.
Definitely.
Signal for Taproot.
So come on, ZZ, who definitely won't be watching this, but please, someone tell him to.